Yes.
Need a mic check for you, dear.
Hey.
No, look up.
Yes.
Like horrible in this camera's head.
Okay.
Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is conspiracy theories and their explanations. And we're fortunate to have Alana McLaughlin with us to talk about some of the conspiracy theories that she believed to be prominent among many people and to give some rationale in terms of why we should be concerned with the various kinds of conspiracy theories that she's talking about. And of course, Alana, let me welcome you to the show this morning and to start us off by giving us some information about your background, your education, and some of your experiences. You've been with us a number of times, and I'm sure that all of that information is quite familiar to some of our audience, but some of them might not know. So let's do it from that perspective.
Well, as you've already stated, my name is Alana McLaughlin. I am 11 years old. I was born August 27th, 2002, and I am currently in 6th grade at John Early Museum Magnet Middle School. I've gone to many schools for elementary schools, such as Napier, Alex Green, Robert Churchwell Museum Magnet School, and for middle school, I'm just going straight through John Early because it is also the pathway to Hume Fogg Academic High School, which is where I want to go. I'm heavily involved in many activities after church, out of school, such as my church and other organizations that I can help out with. And actually, recently I was nominated to attend the Junior National Young Leaders Conference in Washington, D.C. In the summer of 2014 in June. And so, yes, I will be attending that for a week in Washington where people high up in power will be leading me and groups of other children around Washington so that we can experience it as our living classroom. A few more experiences about me. Recently, actually, I preached at Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church for their Love and the Unity of Family program. And so, yes, I try to get involved in everything I can because I think that is my calling.
Lona, I guess people would probably wonder why in the world we would want to talk about conspiracies and how do you explain some of the conspiracies that we're dealing with. But what's your rationale in terms of dealing with this? And why don't you think in terms of the greatest conspiracy you know of, and that will give our audience an idea as to how far we think that we might be able to go in reference to dealing with these conspiracies. Talk about the greatest conspiracy that you know and some explanation in terms of that, and then we'll be able to sort of delve into various conspiracies.
Well, really why I chose to talk about conspiracy theories today is recently, my encore class, we were talking, and then my encore teacher starts talking about conspiracy theories and how one night in that week, he watched a video about how the man on the moon was staged, and that's actually the first conspiracy I want to talk about because I think in my mind is most famous because this is a little known fact. 40% of Americans, only 40% do not believe that this happened. And that is a pretty great percentage. I mean, 40% of Americans, you'd think that, well, like 10% believe it didn't happen, but 40%?
Don't believe that a man walked up.
Don't believe that it happened. And so I think that's a pretty big percentage. And so also, the man on the moon. So I watched a YouTube video and I've gone on various blogs and websites and even read official statements from NASA. And a lot of this didn't make sense to me. One thing is that, so I was going through pictures of Neil Armstrong on the moon, and then I saw something that made no sense to me. Okay, so there's no gravity on the moon. the American flag was waving, but there's no gravity on the moon. How would it wave? And also, the craters on the moon look eerily similar to the ones in Area 51, a place where nobody can go unless they're working there without getting shot down without a warning. Now, why would they block off this place to everybody, but just everything normal is going on there? Is there something they're trying to hide from us? Another reason why I think, well, I don't personally think that this never happened, but one reason why people think that this never happened is because I guess it was a few days before Neil Armstrong actually went on the moon. He flew a tester spaceship, which was 6 times smaller than the actual one he took up into space. He crashed that one, and he had to eject because right after it crashed, it blew up. But then a few days later, in that same week, he beautifully flew a spaceship up to the moon, but he couldn't take this one in Area 51 up to the sky without making it explode.
And so, Lana, these are some of the conspiracies that you believe that our audience ought to be concerned about, and you trying to give some kind of explanation to them as to why they are conspiracies. And from what I understand, you've got a whole bag full of various conspiracies that somehow you've convinced me that we ought to talk about today on this show. And I think that you're doing a good job so far, and we're going to take our first commercial break, and we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.